If you're looking for a new construction home in one of the best suburbs of Columbus, Ohio, below the median sale price, this could be your last chance. Today, I'm going to show you 6 unique floor plans, several of which I have never shown you before. While we tour the homes, I'll give you more information about this popular Columbus, Ohio suburb, plus the latest real estate market update and information about a major new development being proposed in Columbus. Here is our first home for today. So this is their model home. And now this community is in its final phase. So they do not have any available home sites to build on, but they do have quite a few spec homes left for sale. So if you're interested, obviously, I'm going to mention them as I go through the video, some different ones that they have. But if you like the idea of this community and are interested, please let me know. So this particular floor plan, it would have a base price of $464,000. Now they do have a spec home available of it that is priced at $538,000, and that one won't be ready until in November, but it does still qualify for their really good promotion right now with the interest rates, as well as a 2-1 buy down, which I'll get into that a little bit later in this video, just as I go over all those details. But just wanted you to be aware of that. So if you like this floor plan, you know, obviously this being the model home, you could still get it just with a spec home. Anyway, nice office here at the front of the home. Coming right back over here, we have our living room. So these homes in this neighborhood are a little bit on the smaller side. So it's not, these aren't some massive, 3,000 square foot homes. I think the biggest one is right around 2,400 square feet for the homes that I'm going to show you today. But the reasoning behind why I'm showing them to you is because of this neighborhood, this area that it's in. That would be the reason why people want to live here. So I actually just had a client buy a home in this community less than a month ago. And so I'm going to share a little bit more details about that later in the video, as well as information, market update, and some development news. So make sure you stick around for that. It's a really nice kitchen. Now that I'm seeing this, I do believe that I've shown you all a video of a spec home of this floor plan probably 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago now. I know the neighborhood that it was in. I recall the neighborhood. Now it didn't look quite this nice. So it might not have had just as nice of a, kind of design selections of what it was in the kitchen. I don't recall if it had, for example, that nice backsplash that you can see here. This just looks really nice. I like it a lot how this is laid out. The layout was the same in the other one, but as far as the finishes were not the same. I know I've said it recently in some videos, but you can no longer get the outlets on the sides here in the kitchen. Just so, for example, if you, say you had a crock pot on the counter, kid could come by and pull it and crock pot could, fall on their head or something. Anyway, so you can't do that anymore, but you can get outlets on top of the island. So here is your dining space in this particular home. Anyway, what I was saying a couple minutes ago was the idea of this is, I want to say every home is a 3-bedroom home as well. So they're not huge and they're not, a ton of bedrooms either. So this would be ideal. Maybe you have 1 or 2 kids, but you want to get into this area. This could be a great neighborhood for you because of that. So here is your garage entry. So it's nice on this one, they have a little 4-foot extension here on the side of the garage. So you get a little bit of extra space to be able to have bikes and whatever it is you want to put in the garage, but while still having the room for your vehicles. So obviously you have the family coat closet right there. But so this is kind of the idea. So the kitchen's in the center of the home, which I feel like is nice because if you're in the kitchen a lot, that way you are still close to the dining area right over here, as well as still being able to communicate and talk to and see people in the living room. And I just realized I don't think I showed you the pantry right here. Of course, you do have the fridge over here. One of the things I do like about this builder is we'll see on the spec homes, they do come with a fridge. Not every spec home does nowadays, believe it or not. So you do get that, so you don't have to pay for that separately, which is very nice. I hope you're having a great day so far. I just wanted to say welcome and thank you so much for watching. My name is David DeLuey with Red One Realty, your Columbus, Ohio real estate agent. If you want to know everything about living in Columbus, Ohio or moving to Columbus, Ohio, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss my new show every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I take you all over the Columbus, Ohio suburbs, showing you model homes and new construction homes for sale. That way you get a great idea what the Columbus, Ohio real estate market is like without ever leaving the comfort of your home. If you're even thinking about buying or building a new construction home at any point, make sure to reach out to me before you go talk to the builder or go tour their model homes. Now, every builder has different rules, but with some builders, if you show up without me the first time you go to a model home, or even start talking to them on the phone or by email, they won't allow me to help you throughout the process of buying or building a home. So if you want to make sure you have representation from someone who has your best interest in mind, just make sure to contact me first before you talk to the builder or go tour any of their homes. And the great thing is there's no extra cost for you to work with me as your realtor, as the builders will compensate me and they don't give you a discount for not working with a real estate agent. And of course, if you're looking to sell a home or buy a home that's not new, I'd be happy to help you with that as well. I've got people just like you reaching out to me all the time to help them with their move to Columbus, Ohio, and I absolutely love it. To contact me, you can send me a text, give me a call, send me an email, or you can schedule a time for a video call by scanning the QR code on the screen with your smartphone camera, or you can also find a link for it in the description. I look forward to hearing from you soon to help you with your move to Columbus, Ohio. Let's get back to the tour. So you probably noticed in the basement it seemed a little dark. A few other light bulbs were burned out, but you did have 9-foot high ceilings in that basement, which is awesome to have. And you have a great loft up here. I love that piece of furniture they have there with the TV. That is really nice. As you can see across the way there, there's a community pond. I shouldn't say a community pond. There is a pond. I think there's several ponds in the community. But just to give you an idea, let me back up over here so you can see this direction. A lot of times too, you see these new construction communities, you see the mailboxes right there across the street as well. They're pretty much all at this point having those types of community mailboxes rather than having a mailbox in front of each individual home. It's not necessarily because the builder is trying to do that. That's just what the municipalities are saying they need to do. Which is kind of funny to me because, you know, like there's some older areas, not every suburb, but in some of the suburbs where, you know, they still have the mailbox where it's just like right on the house itself, not even at the road. So where, you know, the postal worker has to actually, you know, park their vehicle and walk house to house to house to house. I'm like, that's so inefficient. Why don't they just make those people switch to a community mailbox or something like that? Or, you know, just get a mailbox out front. But anyway, it is what it is. That's what you get right now. Now, at least, I don't know if you guys get this in your area, we can get that USPS informed delivery where it lets you know what's coming that particular day. Now, I know I've had occasions where it doesn't actually show up that day. So I'm like, that's weird. It said I was gonna get this piece of mail and that piece of mail didn't show up. But generally speaking, that way you at least know, hey, this is a day that I wanna go check the mail because I saw what came versus just leaving it in there. That way, if it's not convenient for you, you don't have to make a trip to the mailbox, or if you're driving by, you don't have to get out of your car to go do it. So nice little hall bathroom we just had there. Now another bedroom. So So this is a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom home. That's just under 2,000 square feet. So 1,988 square feet. Like I said, there's another spec home of this floor plan with those same specs that's going to be ready in November. And it qualifies for their promotions that are available right now. So all of the homes that I'm showing you today qualify for these promotions, and anything that can close up until the end of November will qualify as well. So that means if you had a home that you saw it was going to be ready by the end of October or ready by the end of November, those would still qualify if you went in contract. Now, technically, they could end the promotion earlier than that. So it's not to guarantee that if you wait until November 1st that you can still get that promotion. But if you were to go in contract while they're running that promotion, it's valid for homes that can close by the end of November. So if you have any questions about that, make sure to let me know, because I don't want there to be any confusion about that, because these builder promotions, they can change, and they do change quite frequently. So I don't ever want you to feel like you don't know what's going on. And speaking of which, if you scan the QR code on the screen, you can actually sign up for builder updates. That way you can get all the latest automatically. Just be a simple email. When I find out the updates from the builders, I'll send out an email saying, hey, with this builder, here's the promotion, here's when it expires, or it's valid for homes built through that'll be finished and completed by a certain date. But that way you have all the info. I will say too, there's in last week's video, I shared some development news, and it's funny, when I was looking up information before coming out here to film today, I saw, oh my goodness, there's an update in regards to what I had mentioned last week. So again, I'll share that a little bit later in the video, so make sure to stick around for that. But we'll be talking more about this community, more about the area, of course, the real estate market update as well, and showing you 6 different floor plans. All right, so here is our next home, the first of the spec homes in this video. At this point, the video is going to start to pick up the pace a little bit, just because these homes do not have basements. So it just takes a little bit less time. And again, these are not huge homes, so they are just a little bit quicker to walk through as well. So this particular home is listed at $519,000. You have a nice 2-story foyer, and of course, the nice railing for your stairs here. And this actually, as far as I can tell, this is the same floor plan actually that the home that my client bought is. So this would be where you would go to the basement, but obviously, as you can see here, it is a closet. But I love the fact that it's a finished closet. Sometimes builders will just give you an unfinished closet like that under the stairs when there is no basement. So it is at least nice to have a finished storage space there. So kind of walk right in. Obviously, you had your powder room over there. So here is the living room area. Really nice fireplace that they included with this home. And you can see here next to the fireplace and up above, they have a place that way you can put wiring down through if you need something to be wired down here. That way you can put it behind the wall rather than having the wiring exposed. So that is very nice. So here would be your eat-in kitchen space right here. And then you have a morning room right over here, or sunroom. Obviously just another sitting area, however you want to put it, whatever you want to utilize it as. So I don't think I said in the first home, but we're located in the suburb of Powell. So that's located on the north side of Columbus. Powell is located in the, well, for the most part, technically there's a little bit of Powell that are in other school districts, but for the most part, Powell is located in the Olentangy School District, which depending on which website you might look at, Olentangy is right up there with the best of them as far as ratings online. So great school system, and there are schools really close to this neighborhood as well. But great big kitchen. I love this kitchen. Obviously you have the bar seating here at the island, which is convenient. You know, if you have your table there and you just need some extra seats, you got them right there. Nice little area over here for maybe your coffee maker, blender, other appliances. Obviously they still need to deliver the appliances, but you'd have your fridge and your oven and your microwave right there. And of course the dishwasher over here on the island. But this is very nice. That way you have the space on either side of the oven still. I like that a lot, how they did that. And then over here we have our pantry. Now, a cool thing about this floor plan is this flex room over here. So maybe you utilize it as an office slash guest bedroom. A long time ago, it's actually one of the first videos I ever did where I did multiple homes in one video. I did a model home of this floor plan. So if you've only been watching recently or you haven't watched all my videos, and technically I might have even unlisted that video. So unless you found it in a playlist, you might not even be able to see it still possibly. But they had it set up as a half office, half exercise room. Like they had like a Peloton bike in it. So, and so your utilities, your mechanicals, I should say, like your water heater and your furnace are right here, which I love the fact they put it in the garage. There you have solid doors to help keep the noise down. That way it's not louder in your house. I think it's actually a great floor plan, or great design, great thoughts. It was a very well thought out design to put it in the garage rather than putting it, you know, just out here, for example, in this closet underneath the stairs, or to put it in the upstairs in the closet. I think it's a much better use of space to have closets upstairs, for example, or on the main level, rather than having your water heater in the main living area. So they do have, so I know I mentioned the price, $519 on this one. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom home. Obviously we had that flex room also on the main level. So that's not one of the bedrooms. That's an additional space. And this home is just over 2,400 square feet. They do have another home of this floor plan, another spec home that would be priced at $537,000. So a little bit more, about $18,000 more. That one is closer to the schools that are nearby. So where you could very likely walk to it, because it's in the section of the homes that actually has a sidewalk connecting you to the schools if you wanted to get to them. And so that one will be ready in January. So if you're interested in this home, but maybe the timing isn't great, or you just like the idea of being closer to the schools, that could be a great option for you. Both this street and that other street closer to the schools, they're basically done with construction in here. The few homes that are left, obviously, that are going to be ready in, say, January, obviously they're not done with those homes yet. But you're not going to be facing, all of your neighbors' homes under construction or anything like that. That's a section that's already completed. They just had a couple homes to fill out in that area. So really nice. Again, if you like the idea of being extremely close to the schools where you could walk your kids to school, there's both the elementary school and the high school that would be, you could walk to right from the neighborhood. Whereas there's a middle school that is across the street, so slightly further away, like it's across a major road. So you probably wouldn't walk there, but still extremely close. So here's your hall bathroom. You do have nice tile flooring in here. So it looks very familiar to my client's home that they bought, which is actually just down the street from here. On the same street. I'll be walking by it later. But this is nice. All the homes on this street, obviously they have a few touch-up things to do, but there's no construction happening. You know, there's no loud noises, no banging, no hammering, no saw stuff. You know, it feels done in here, which is always something to me that is nice. It's like, hey, can you get the new home without having to deal with there being construction going on around you? So this primary bedroom, to me, feels huge. This is a very spacious room. And one of the things I love about it too is you could put the bed over there between the windows. If you wanted to, you could put the bed over here. And also you could put the bed over here. So I love the fact that if you wanted to, you have the different options to be able to do it pretty easily. Something too, I'm just noticing they have the outlet over here where you have the USB plugs in it. That way you don't have to have the little charging block. If you're gonna plug in your phone in particular, so that's probably the most common thing that we all charge, right? But you just have to have the cord rather than having the separate charging block also. So finally, here is our primary bathroom. Again, you got the really beautiful tile, love it. Okay, I was thinking there was gonna be something behind there, but it's right over here. Here we go. So yep, there is your private water closet. Again, the tile going straight in there. And here is your walk-in closet. It's right after Labor Day when I'm filming this, which the weather has now started to feel like fall here, where I am loving the weather. That's why I can wear long sleeves today and I'm not concerned about it because it is not too hot at all. College football season just started. So Ohio State had a big win over #1 ranked Texas. The game was here in Columbus this past Saturday. But although Ohio State fans rejoice, and I'm sure college football fans in general, enjoying the season starting. So here is our next home. I did actually skip the one next to it. We're gonna go back to that right after this. So I just had them written down in a different order. And so this one, I don't believe I've ever been inside this floor plan before. So I don't think I have shown it to you. So this will be interesting, I'm sure, for you to see a new floor plan. That's kind of my goal with this video. I wanted you to be able to see a bunch of different options. This is kind of unique. You have transom windows right here in the entryway, and you still have a 2-story entry, which again is pretty unique. You don't see that a ton. And the stairs right here. This is such a unique layout here. So you've got your coat closet right here. So this particular home is listed at $512,000. They do have a spec of this home also that will be ready in January, again, closer to the schools for $533,000. So $533,000 closer to the schools, they'll be ready in January also. So that'll be a theme throughout this video, that there's an additional spec home with the same floor plan. We'll get to the stairs in just a minute. Closer to the schools. I think they're all a little bit more money too, now that I think about it. But so you have options if you prefer to be closer to the school, or maybe you're just not quite ready to pull the trigger right now. And maybe these homes are still available later on when you are ready to pull the trigger, or maybe they're not, but that gives you another option still. I just mentioned in the last home, in the primary bedroom, they had the outlet with the USB, and they have it again right there. And again, you have a fireplace in here. Now this living room, now I know it's kind of a walkway. You have to walk through the living room to get to the kitchen, but this living room feels a little bit bigger to me as far as an overall space. So as long as you don't mind the idea of having to walk through the living room to get to the kitchen, then this is great. The island looks a little bit smaller, but your sink is not on the island. So you gain back some of that space just by virtue of the sink not being there. But overall, again, a big kitchen, spacious. You have the countertop space next to the fridge. You got space on both sides of where your oven will be. Looks like that will be your dishwasher right here next to the sink. And so then the island is just an island, which is kind of cool. I know some people really like that idea. In this case, your sink looks out into your side yard right over there. So again, here is your eat-in kitchen space right here and your morning room right over here. So lots of natural light. Didn't even turn the light on for in here and it's still very bright. Can easily read in here, even though it's a very overcast day today. I wouldn't say we've had a drought. It had rained so much this summer and then we went for a little while with no rain, but it did rain a little bit last night, at least at my house. I'm guessing it rained here too, because there's some things that I've noticed that are wet. But anyway, even with it being overcast, due to having some rain and it being a little bit cooler today temperature-wise, we are still getting a lot of natural light in that area. All right, so this is interesting. We got 3 doors in here. Gotta figure out which is which. Maybe one of them is a pantry, maybe one is a coat closet, and I know one of them is the garage, so. Got a nice drop zone area there. Here is, whoa, okay. You got the upgraded garage flooring in here. That's really nice. And again, we have the mechanicals in a closet in the garage. And this is actually also really nice. You have your entire garage is drywalled. So sometimes with builders, they will only drywall, let's say, because this is an exterior wall here, they would just leave that entire wall, just the studs. No drywall, no insulation. With some builders. So that's great that you have the whole thing drywalled. That way, if you wanted to paint it, as you can see, it's already ready to paint. So that is really nice. And the fact that you have the nicer garage flooring too, that's really cool. So a little bonus on this home, that's awesome. Always nice to have a little surprise. All right, so I'm guessing this could be a coat closet. Oh, all right, it is a storage closet. So this is what's underneath the stairs. Because I was thinking, I'm like, where would be the, supposed basement entrance? But this would be the basement entrance if you had a basement. But here is your closet for under the stairs. So maybe this is just a coat closet. Okay, so this is the pantry. So maybe you want to put clothing racks in here, maybe on the side, on one of the sides to hang things in here. But then, guessing, at least I didn't notice. I'll have to go back and look. Again, I haven't been in this floor plan before, so I am not familiar with its layout. And there is not another pantry, so that would be your pantry right there. Yeah, so then I'd probably put a clothing rack in that other big closet. That way you could use that. Of course, you do have the coat closet right here. I was forgetting about that, so that's at least nice. So if you just needed to use the other one for storage and just wanted to use this as your coat closet, you could do that. All right, let's head on upstairs. So I alluded to earlier, last week, I was talking about a bunch of jobs coming to South Columbus. So there's a big defense tech company. Oh wow, look at this loft. This is really nice. And again, I didn't turn on, other than the chandelier light, I didn't turn on the lights up here. So this is still pretty bright up here. Again, on an overcast day, this is not bad at all. Really big loft. So there's a big defense tech company who's building manufacturing facilities just south of Columbus near the Rickenbacker Airport. So that's mostly a cargo airport. And so that's kind of the reason why they're down there. So there's a lot of warehouses, distribution centers down in that area because of the fact that it's a cargo airport. Anyway, so they're building a facility down there. They themselves will be employing 4,000 people. And then that's not counting, vendors that will be likely, hiring thousands of people on their own. But so that's just them on their own, 4,000 jobs. So I just mentioned that last week. Check out last week's video. If you haven't, I'll link to it at the end of this one. But then I mentioned in that video too, I was like, man, this has the opportunity to really change the landscape of that area on the south side of Columbus, just because, with that many new jobs, In general, other than say Grove City, that south side of Columbus is kind of underdeveloped. It's, like I said, it's warehouses, industrial type stuff. There's the big cargo airport down there. And then it's a lot of, maybe it's not actually used as farm land, but basically just fields and land. So not a lot of communities, not big suburbs or anything like that down there. So we were in a neighborhood down there in Commercial Point last week. But so I just was looking up this morning before I came over here, and I saw that I had already left town because I went out of town over the weekend. But so on Friday, this news was published. Obviously the video was published on Saturday, but I had already uploaded it to be ready to go on Saturday. But on Friday, this article was published about a new development being proposed for down there that's going to have 784 homes. So that is a massive development down in the suburb of Groveport. So Groveport's on kind of the northeast side of that airport, whereas the actual facility itself, where all the jobs will be, is on the southwest side, but still in that general area. So, I mean, that's a huge announcement to be saying, okay, we're gonna talk about 784 homes, not counting multifamily. So multifamily being apartments. So not counting apartments, just the homes in this development would be almost 800 homes. So I mean, that is massive, massive news. So the first phase should start within the next 2 years. And then the first phase should be completed with over 100 homes by the end of 2029. I love the fact that this laundry room has a window, and it also has that nice tile flooring also. So really cool. Anyway, so that community, that's gonna help increase, obviously, the housing supply in the area. Because again, like I said, there's not really much. Here's your walk-in closet for your primary bedroom. But we'll increase the housing supply to hopefully keep up with demand in that area, because I do really think that there will be a lot of demand as more and more people begin working there. For most people, they don't want to work an hour away. They don't want to necessarily work on the work on the south side of Columbus if they live on the north side, right? You'd rather probably live on the same side of town if it makes sense to do so. So especially for people who are maybe relocating to the area, or maybe after someone gets a job there, they're like, hey, I'm tired of commuting 45 minutes or 30 minutes. I'd rather live 15, 20 minutes away. So maybe they move to that area. So it could be a real big change. Obviously, a neighborhood is just one aspect of it, because once neighborhoods are there, then you start getting grocery stores, retail, restaurants, etc. So it could really change that landscape. A couple weeks ago, I brought you brought a video from Jerome Village. Love having I know it's kind of weird because you have a window, but you can put blinds up or privacy screen over the window. But I love having the natural light for the water closet in there. That's really great. But there was a Marysville Business Park that's going to be close to Jerome Village. And I was saying, hey, this could really mean big things for Jerome Village, because they're already they just got the new Kroger. They're starting to get, an emergency room, medical center, some restaurants out there. It's starting to get developed beyond just the residential. So good signs. Let's go on to the next one. Here's our next home. I really like the exterior elevation on this one. Looks super sharp, really nice. I know I haven't mentioned it on the couple homes that had it, but I like these light fixtures they have over the garage too. Obviously you have the stone wrap around here also. Here's another home too. I don't think I have ever been in or shown you all this floor plan. So excited to get to show it to you. So I will go over the market update as we're walking around this home. I don't know if you could tell, but that chandelier has been freshly cleaned. They literally just cleaned it right before I came in here. So I was walking over here to do it, and they had a big ladder out, and they're like, hey, sorry, we'll just be a couple minutes. So it is a freshly cleaned chandelier. Love the fact that they have the windows up there though to let in that natural light, and kind of unique too how you have the closet, it's only up to a certain part though, right? I mean, you wouldn't need it to go up all the way, so it makes more sense to have the window there. And again, we've got the finished storage under the stairway. Very nice. I'm guessing this is our powder room. It is. So this floor plan's reminding me a little bit of one of the other ones. I know it's not identical, but it's similar so far. So let's see what we got over here. So you've got a nice sized living room. You do have the morning room in this one, as well as your eating space right here. I like having the sliding door back to your patio, very nice. Kind of nice too with this one, you have that hill behind your home, so that way you're not really seeing. So there's a road on the other side of that hill. So you can see there's a home over that way, so that home is facing that road. But I like having that hill, give you a little bit extra buffer before the road. So here's the kitchen. I like it. The white shaker cabinets, very nice. So obviously they don't have the appliances in yet. Oh, and we do have a gray island, so that is cool too. I know a lot of people like the idea of having the two different color cabinets in their kitchen. So kind of fun having the corner space in here. Let's see what they did here. Yep, so we can turn it around so we can access all things back there. Very nice. And of course you don't have anything on the island, so just free space for entertaining. And of course you have the bar seating at the island as well. And here's your pantry. So a nice little step-in pantry, but I like kind of that, you know, it's still convenient, but it's not in the way of anything. You know, like you have to come over here to get stuff out of the pantry, so you're not gonna be in someone's way if they're cooking or something like that. So main level laundry. Again, that's different than those other ones we've seen so far. And family coat closet. This one's nice. You can actually walk into it, so you get a little bit extra storage. And I understand, obviously, you know, a lot of people like the idea of having a basement. You know, you get storage or you get space that you could finish eventually. But in the event of not having a basement, it's nice when you have just the extra closets. A little bit of extra space to store your belongings. You know, that way you can still be able to park in your garage and not have to use your garage for storage. So that is very nice. Now, let's get into that market update. So actually, let me back up really quick. So this one, I think I said already. If I didn't, I apologize. This one's listed at $487,000. So this is a little bit cheaper than the other ones, under 500. 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, just over 2,000 square feet. There's another spec of this home listed for $504,000. It is closer to the schools and it'll be ready in January as well, just like those other ones. So market update now. This is for the Olentangy School District for July 2025, which just came out last week. Oh my goodness, where do I start? I don't know, let's start over here. So the closed sales were up 40%. That's a huge number. Now, part of that's just because when the numbers are low, any jump is big. You know, so if you went from 100 to 110, that's 10%. If you went from 100 to 140, that's 40%. So they were up 40% to 180 sales. Again, that's just this school district in the suburbs of Columbus, Ohio. So closed sales up 40%. The average sale price was down 3.8% from last year, from July of last year, to $620,000. And the median sale price was down 2% to $573,000, again, compared to last year. Now, when there's fewer sales, like this happens, for example, in an area like New Albany, sometimes in New Albany, it's like, oh, there was 12 homes that sold. So it's like, okay, well, out of those 12 that sold, were they expensive? Were they lower priced? So the average and the median sale price can fluctuate drastically just based on, was it an expensive home that sold that particular month or not? So it's not surprising to me that the average and the median price went down a little bit, considering there was a lot more homes that sold, because then what's it called? It moves towards what's normal, towards the average, versus where the outliers impact it more. Because if you just had hey, there's the 10 homes that sold for over $1 million, those will have a bigger impact when there's fewer homes sold. Hopefully that makes sense. The more homes that sell, the easier it is for things to be more average and more normal, versus when there's fewer homes, it can have a bigger change. So again, you got the nice tile flooring here in the hall bathroom, got your shower, got your toilet, and a little window over here also. All right, so the average price per square foot is actually up 1.9% to $251 per square foot. Homes sold for 98.9% of the original list price. So if it was listed for $1 million, then it sold for $989,000, just to give you an idea. So pretty close to the original list price. 25 days on market until sale, which is up from 22 days on market last year in July. There's 199 new listings, which that is up 12% compared to July last year. And now there were 294 homes for sale, which is in comparison to 223 homes for sale last year in July. So about 70 more homes for sale. So that's a 2.5 month supply of homes, which is, again, it's creeping up. So it's still a seller's market, but it's becoming more favorable towards buyers. Again, even though it's still a seller's market, it's not a buyer's market, but it's becoming more favorable for buyers than it had been, just because there's more options. Homes are staying on the market a little bit longer on average, and there's more homes for sale to give you options, versus like, oh my gosh, there's only 2 homes for sale. There's nothing to choose from. So year to date, and I always like doing year to date when it's a little bit later in the year, because again, sometimes just that one particular month can be a big fluctuation. But year to date, the average sale price in this school district, Olentangy School District, is up 5.1% year to date compared to last year to date. So that's now $635,000 for the average sale price. And the median sale price year to date is up 2.3%. And that's up to $575,000. So these homes I'm showing you are significantly below the median and the average sale price in this community. So this home is another floor plan that I have never shown you before. So I'm excited to get to go and see it for myself, because I've never seen it before, and show it to you also. So this particular home is listed at $479,000. So that's amazing, under $500,000. And it is the last one of this floor plan. I know I've said for a few other ones that there's another one. Well, this is the last one in this community. So if you like it, like the idea of getting it now rather than having to wait to build it somewhere else, make sure to reach out to me as soon as you can so you don't miss out on it. But it is the last of its kind here. So again, another 2-story entryway. I feel like that's a theme in this community. Really interesting. All right, so this, I'm guessing, is the garage, because it had the lock on it, and it is. So again, this garage actually feels a little bit bigger to me. Now maybe it's just because we're coming on the side rather than from the back. But again, you've got the upgraded flooring in here, and you have your mechanicals right there. And again, it's drywalled and ready. If you want to paint it to make it look all nice, you can do that. Kind of interesting to have, because most of the times they'll have the garage where it's like its own separate entryway, like not just coming into a hallway, but almost like a family entry. So that's a little bit unique about this floor plan. And here we have, again, the finished closet, which I love the fact that they did that. It's so nice to have it done that way. Okay, so this is what is so unique about this floor plan. Check this out. This is so different from every other floor plan. So this is your eating space right here. Obviously it's not huge. You'd probably want to have a smaller table there. I'm curious if they have another eating space somewhere else also, because this is obviously the walkway coming into the home. You do have a little bit of bar seating. You could probably fit 2 bar stools here at the island in the kitchen. The kitchen is smaller than the last homes we've been looking at also, especially the first 3 or so. Those were all pretty big in size. Let's see what is over here. This is unique, having kind of like a corner. Oh, so your pantry, interesting. So your pantry is flanked right next to the garage entry. So obviously that's really convenient. If you park in the garage, you got groceries, or even are coming in through the front door. Your pantry is kind of the first thing you get to. And really interesting on this one too, you have main level laundry. All the others had the upper level laundry. But you do still have tile flooring in here, so that is very nice. And then here is your main level powder room right next to it. Do a little walk around the kitchen now. This is very unique. And also unique that they did this little half wall. I guess it's nice. There's 2 ways to look at it. It's great because now you could put a sofa or a sectional over here, whereas it would kind of be cool if it was almost like an overhang bar seating area where, hey, you could have more seating right there. But then again, you wouldn't have, for example, a sofa sitting in front of it. So let me see if I can get some of these lights on really quick. So this is with no lights on in the living room. And now here's with the lights on. So this home is definitely a different style than those first few homes that we looked at today. You don't have the morning room with this home. You still have your nice little patio. Shouldn't say little, but you get what I mean. You have a nice patio. You have a neighbor over there with a nice white fence. I actually wonder if that's my client's home. I wasn't paying attention. I know we're really close to their home. Oh, that's the primary. All right, so we got a main level primary. So we're gonna go upstairs really quick and see what's upstairs. And then we'll come back down and show you the primary. So this is unique also. You have a coat closet up 1 stair from the entry, but at least it's really nice since this is the wall where the garage is right here. So you couldn't have a coat closet there. So you need to have a coat closet right there. So that is, again, very unique. This is such a different floor plan. Again, this is the first time I've even been inside this floor plan. So I've never seen it before. I've never shown it to you before. So not saying it's breaking news, but I'm bringing it to you here first today. You got a first time look at it. I am unsure what to think of this right now, because this looks like it would be the primary right here. Well, we're just gonna have to go exploring because I have no idea what's going on. This is the fun thing about when I don't look at the floor plan, like the 2D floor plan before I come into our home. A little sitting area here, that's kind of nice. Put a little reading chair or something. So we got this massive room over here. You have a double door entry to it. Okay, but then there's no other closet or anything. So, I mean, you could turn this, you could call this a bedroom, to be honest. I know I've talked about this before. Technically, a bedroom doesn't have to have a closet. It just has to have 2 points of egress, which it does, the doors and the windows here. And then it has to be at least 70 square feet and be at least 7 foot high for the ceilings. So this is way bigger than 70 square feet. So you do have room to add a closet if you didn't have one already, or a wardrobe instead of a closet. But this is great. Awesome flex space up here. Loft, office, multi-use space, really cool. I was shocked when I walked up here. I'm like, wait a second, there's a room here. And then there's 2 other rooms that look like bedrooms over there. What is going on? Very unique. All right, so here we have a bedroom. If you see, you got your closet right over there. This isn't my favorite, having, the ceiling slope down. I know some people like the character. I'm not as big of a fan just because it feels like the space is smaller in that regard, but this room, it feels a little bit bigger. Helps it. I know this isn't usable space right here, but as far as expanding it and not making you feel like you're already in the room when you first walk in, that is nice. And interesting too that you have the side window on these two rooms rather than the back windows. Again, you have a pretty similar closet situation. So then over here we have the hall bathroom with the transom window, which I appreciate so much. So otherwise it'd just be dark in here, right? That way you get some natural light, but you still have the privacy. So it's very nice. Again, of course, you have the bonus room there. All right, so let's head on back down now to see the primary. So this location, we're in Powell, like I said. The neighborhood is so conveniently located to kind of what I would consider like the heart of Powell. We're right off of Sawmill Parkway. We are really close to a new Kroger that is almost done getting built, and a new Ohio State University Medical Center, like an outpatient facility as well, is really close by. It will be open next summer. There's also a good amount of restaurants really close by, like because this area is getting developed all along Sawmill Parkway, heading up there because there's more and more developments coming north this way and even further north than this. So nice main level primary. So you have 9-foot high ceilings below the tray and then 10-foot high in the tray here. So really great ceiling height. Even though the room itself isn't huge, but it's still a good size. So you probably would want to put the bed over on that wall right there. That way you're not right in front of the windows. But this is very nice. So you're close to that main shopping area. Like I said, you're so close to the schools, like I've already alluded to. Powell also is where the Columbus Zoo is. So if you have kids or you just like animals, the zoo is extremely convenient to where we are right now. You're also really close to, there's a library branch that is very close to this community. Nice little linen closet here. And let's see, oh, the light is on over there. I was gonna say it wasn't very bright. I didn't think the light was on. There's also a lot of golf courses nearby here in Powell and also in the neighboring Dublin, which in Dublin, if you just cross, so where the Columbus Zoo is in Powell, if you just cross over the river that's right next to it, that literally takes you into Dublin right by Muirfield Village, which is where the Memorial PGA tournament happens every year, Memorial Day weekend. So if you like golf, this is a great location to be in just because you have the opportunity to play golf at a bunch of different places, and you can also see a PGA Tour event really close also. And here is our final home tour for today. This one is listed at $436,000. So it's a little bit smaller than the other ones, as you'll see when we get inside, but more affordable as well. Like I was mentioning earlier, the median sale price year to date in this school district is $575,000. Now, like I said, the average price per square foot, $251. Let's just say that's $250. So based on the square footage of this home, it's actually not too bad. It's 1,520 square feet. So I'm gonna do some crazy math and put it up on the screen what exactly that equates to. But if it was 1,500 and it was 200 per square foot, that'd be $300,000. Versus if it was 300,000, that would be 450. So it's, I guess, a little bit above the average price per square foot, but it's also a ranch home, which most homes in the school district are probably not ranch homes. And ranch homes do cost a little bit more because the biggest expenses in a house are foundation, and you also have roof costs. So the bigger the footprint, the more expensive the home is. So this is really unique. All these transom windows here along the entryway. I mean, check this out. So the home obviously is not a wide home because we're on one side right here, and we were just looking into the garage, which went to the other side of the home right there. But look how far back it goes. This is huge. Talking about good if you have kids that like want to run or do something that's in a straight line. They could have a lot of fun right there. Or they might drive you crazy, I don't know. It's probably some of both, right? You know, the kids, they drive you crazy and you love it because they're having so much fun also. So here we have a linen closet. This home will be a little bit quicker because it is a little bit smaller, like I said. So it's 1,520 square feet. It's 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Now they do have another spec home of this floor plan that's actually just right across the street, and it is actually available now. So for $439,000. So this one's $436,000. The other one is $439,000. So we got our 2 secondary bedrooms up here, kind of near the front of the home, right after you get it past the garage. And then here you have your hall bathroom. So no powder room in this home. So this is your guest bathroom as well. As always, if you have any questions about any of the homes you see, or even if you just have questions in general, I'm always here available to take your call, respond to text, respond to email. Would also love to get, if you're not in the area, schedule a video call. Love to get together with you. Obviously, if you're in the area, would love to meet with you in person. Or if you're visiting, I'm excited to get to meet someone next week who's coming to visit before they move. And just last week, I was meeting with someone who's planning to sell their home so that they can then build a new home. So love to get together. I love to get together with you all. I was gonna say, I love to get to meet you all. And I realized I switched my words up there. So again, really nice. I love the fact they put the tray ceiling here in the living room. And you have the fireplace as well. Now, something you might have noticed, you might be thinking, David, where do you eat? I don't know if you noticed that. I noticed it. I have been in, not this particular home, but have been in this floor plan before, and there's no specific dining area to it. But look at this island. And you can easily fit, and technically you could fit someone over here too. So you could fit 2 there, 2 there, and 1 over on the side. So you could fit 5 people sitting at the island here. Obviously, I know that's not everyone's cup of tea. Some people would rather have a specific dining area. Now, I mean, if you wanted to, you could still put a table over here and maybe have, you know, a little sectional here, or you know, a sofa and a chair over there, or something like that. You could still do something if you really badly wanted to have a table. It's just not a true defined space where you're gonna put a table on its own. But a huge island, so that is at least nice. If they're gonna not have a true eating space, at least have that massive island. I like what they did with the backsplash in here. Of course, you have the pantry podges. I can't remember, I might have showed you the pantry already. I'm busy talking about the rest of the layout, so I wasn't necessarily remembering. But now we just gotta go see the primary. This home tour will be done just like that. It goes so much faster when there's no upstairs and it's not a massive home. So I do like, again, you have the tray ceiling in here also. So 9 foot high on the bottom of the tray, 10 foot high up on top of the tray. This is kind of nice. You have a little bit of trees back here. The next homes are pretty far away over there, so it feels pretty private, which is very nice over here. Anyway, obviously, if you have any questions, text, call, email, schedule that video call. Always happy to chat with you. And again, make sure you reach out to me if you're thinking about new construction, to contact me before you reach out to the builders. Just again, not every builder does it, but with some of them, they will literally have signs saying, hey, you have to have the realtor with you the first time you come, or, you know, in some cases, you just at least have to have had your realtor introduce you to them. So I'd love to have the opportunity to work with you, with the builders, if you are choosing to build or even choosing to buy one of their move-in ready homes, because it goes the same either way, whether you're buying a home like this one or if you're building. If you go in on your own and then say later on that you want me to work with you, they might say, sorry, you already were talking to us. If you like this video, make sure to check out this video right here, or you can see the one that YouTube thinks you're like right over here. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next week.